Well, while I've got the house to myself for a few minutes, I thought I might take a moment to tell you all about, well, to talk to you about Paranormal Activity. No, not the film that everyone apparently wants to see. I haven't seen it yet, but yeah. But I'm not talking about film, I'm talking about actual Paranormal Activity. Meaning aliens, ghosts, and that sort of thing. Now, many people are not believers in paranormal activity. Uh, Many people try to explain everything away scientifically and that. Like, it wasn't a ghost that shut that door, it was possibly the wind, or maybe you used a bit of fishing line, or, something like that. And that's not a UFO, it's an aeroplane, or an helicopter, or government test plane, or something, yeah. But first thing we need to notice is the way people talk about them. Because they say, do you believe in aliens and ghosts? That's an incorrect analysis. You'll see what I mean in it. Obviously, I don't believe in God. So I don't think God exists or anything like that. But the people say, do you believe in God? But belief is, a mindset, And basically, if you believe in something, it may not actually exist. Whereas when people say, do you believe in ghosts or UFOs, they're automatically trying to say to you, they don't exist. Because they're saying, do you believe in them? Like, would you believe in God? Whereas I think you should actually say, do you think ghosts and aliens exist? And then people say yes or no. But going up to people saying, do you believe in ghosts and aliens? It's a bad idea. Because you put the word believe in there, it automatically makes you a bit of a skeptic. I think ghosts and aliens exist. I think aliens exist because if people as a human race didn't think aliens exist, and therefore that meant we are alone in the universe, we would all feel very, very, very depressed. And we'd think that life is ultimately pointless because we're never going to discover anything new, and all this stuff we're doing with space travel and trying to send rockets to Mars and all those other things, trying to send old age pensioners into space apparently, would all be absolutely futile and bollocks because there's nothing out there to find. That's basically what they're saying. So people really must say aliens exist. Because they must. I mean, you can't say that we've got all this entire expanse of the universe and we're the only intelligent beings. Because that would just be bollocks. I mean, there's got to be other planets throughout the universe just like ours, with creatures on it just like ours, but slightly different and slightly similar. Like it's got its own ecosystem quite similar to ours, with your plant eaters and your plants and your animal eaters and then your human type people. Although I firmly believe in the theory that humans originally came from Mars, so yeah, I'll get to that later. But swinging back towards the ghost side of everything, I know ghosts exist because I have seen them. And normally when you say to someone I've seen ghosts, they think you're a prick, or they're just not going to believe you, especially if they're one of these people that say, oh, ghosts don't exist. Ghosts do exist. Whether you believe in them or whether you think they exist, they do exist. And yeah, there are videos on the internet of apparent ghostly goings on that are absolute bollocks. But then there are videos which actually could be real. I mean, all these ones that say apparent ghost sighting, and you're watching it and fuck all happens, and then just something pops up on the screen and goes BAAAAH! It's obviously a complete, absolute bollocks thing. But that leads even more people to believe that ghosts don't exist. Because the only videos they get to see of ghosts, apparently, are ones of people pissing about and having a laugh. Now, I think what people should do is find places which are apparently very, very, very haunted. You know, like old wings of hospitals and stuff. Places that are said to have lots of different ghosts and things and poltergeists and everything everywhere. And they just record those areas. I mean, there used to be a series on TV that I used to watch where they used to go into people's houses that were haunted. And then they would just they would set up all these cameras, one in each, all like in different rooms, and they would sit back and they would watch the monitors of these cameras, and they would get a cameraman to film the monitors of the cameras so the people at home can watch the program of them watching the cameras. And then like, sometimes they'll give you a live feed from the camera, which they'll mix it afterwards, obviously with clever editing. So we get to see what the actual camera sees, not what the cameraman recording the camera sees. Because you can fuck about with that sort of thing. And you'll see things like a chair will just move on its own. There's no one in the room, they're all in the room where the camera monitors are, watching the monitors and doing nothing, and just talking and that sort of thing. Having a cup of tea. There's no one in the room that the camera is watching yet something moves. You know, that sort of thing. And I can't remember what this program was called, but I used to love it because it really does show that you can't explain away everything. Because people see a ghostly goings on and they try to explain it immediately. It's like, oh, it's possibly the wind, or you know, someone could have thrown that across the room. There's no one in the room. How could anyone have thrown it? Really? I mean, there was one where if you put a chair or any object in a particular part of someone's kitchen, this person's kitchen, it would be slammed up against the wall, directly across the room. So say I put it here, and then step back, and no one went near it, it would eventually, after a few seconds, go vroom, straight across up to the other end of the room, and not quite embed itself in the wall, but it'll make a thump. Just as though some spirit who possibly got pissed off while living in that house had just sort of like that. Or dragged it across the room or whatever, pushed it, you know. And then for some reason they died or whatever, and then they just do that every day for no reason. Just push things against walls. And, you know, there are all sorts of... And you cannot explain that. How could you explain that away? Oh, maybe the wind blew it. It's a fucking chair. Maybe someone pulled it. There was no one anywhere near where it was going, or anything. But people are still trying to explain it away. You just can't. People are still trying to explain it away now. And now I've told you about it, you'll try possibly explaining it away, but you can't do it. It's definitive proof that ghosts exist, because there's no scientific way of explaining how these chairs and any other inanimate objects would just be placed on a particular point and then be slammed against the wall. I mean, they even sat a little girl in the area, because they marked out where the area was, because obviously they've been testing this for fucking ages. And there sat a girl there, and she was shoved against the wall. And it was fucking hilarious to see this little girl go, VOOM! But obviously, whatever it was, you know, this ghost that shoved things against walls, obviously doesn't care if it was a real little girl or not, it just, get out there. Just like when you go, get out of my way, with an object or something. But yeah, and you can't explain this thing. And then you swing back to UFOs, people see strange flying objects, you know, lights in the sky, that sort of thing. You just can't explain them. And people will try to explain it, people say, oh yeah, maybe it's a government testing an aeroplane, or, you know, some new helicopter design or something. You never know what people might say to try and stop you thinking that it's actually an alien spacecraft. I mean, there's a whole conspiracy theory, isn't there, about what's inside Area 51. I mean, no one knows what's in Area 51 except the people working in Area 51 and people connected with Area 51. But there are theories as to what's in it, and because no one really knows. So, obviously people are going to speculate about it. I mean, people believe that in Area 51 there's absolutely nothing. People say it's a military base, and some people say there's alien spacecraft down there. Now, I think if aliens did come to this planet, the first thing that would happen would be they would be shot down by our anti-air missiles and stuff. Or if it was spotted by what you call a redneck, or a regular person, I should say, who would immediately phone the government and whatever about it and report it. The government would surround the area, investigate, and by investigate I mean go into the area, kill any alien life they find, and take it all off to a secret lab, Area 51, and that sort of thing. So really, if aliens did come down to this planet, they obviously would end up in a place like Area 51, a secret government lab, where no one can get in and no one can get out, so no one can tell you what's in it or what's not in it. I mean, they had that leaked video of an alien being cut open and shit. I don't know whether it's real or fake. I'm not going to speculate on whether it's real or fake. But when a video like that appears, and then the government automatically says, oh, it's a fake, don't believe it, it sort of makes you wonder why they're protesting so much that it is a fake. And why not just let you make up your own mind as to whether it's a fake or not. I mean, it's like when a song comes out that gets banned by the government. They say, no, you can't watch that music video because it's too sex related or it's too violent. You will automatically go out and try and find it, won't you? So if a video came out that was of an alien being cut open or something, and I was a government person, and I said automatically, as soon as it was found, oh, it's fake, don't believe it, it's all an elaborate hoax, that would cause you ordinary people to think, why is he saying it's a fake so much? Let's investigate this a little. And this is where our conspiracy theories and that come up. But obviously I can't tell you whether to believe in aliens or whether aliens exist or whatever way you want to say it. But I can tell you ghosts exist and they are among us. That sounds like an alien quote, doesn't it? Aliens are among us. No, but ghosts are definitely among us. I don't know whether ghosts are actually people who have died and come back for some reason. I don't know if ghosts are mental projections of psychic people. I don't know what they are. Which leads me nicely into the other form of paranormal type stuff. Psychics and stuff. Now all these psychics that you see on TV, they're all fakes. But real psychic activity and like mental telepathy, ESP, that sort of thing, has been tested and proven to actually be real. Some people are fakers, some people are hoax makers and that sort of thing, but some of it is actually real. And I myself have seen in dreams, when I've been asleep, I have seen parts of the future, and I don't mean like with laser guns and spaceships and flying cars. I mean the future as in the actual real future. And I've seen very small obscure things like women crossing the road, and then the next day I saw that woman crossing the road in the exact same way, wearing the exact same clothes, that sort of thing. I've also seen bigger things like the Trade Tower disaster. I saw that before it happened. But obviously if you have this sort of thing, or you have any sort of mental ability, like if you're one of these people that can predict floods and tornadoes, or you're one of these people that can communicate with animals, like Dr. Dolittle, or you're one of these people that can sense earthquakes or problems in the atmosphere, or you're one of these people that can tell which card is going to be pulled off a pack next. You know, that sort of thing. Like, people sort of start to regard you as some kind of weirdo, and like the government gets hold of you, takes you away to a lab, and runs all these tests to try and see if you actually are getting these things and that sort of thing. And then when you die, they cut your brain open and try to see what was causing it. But normally what causes it isn't a physical thing. It's not like, oh yeah, I've got an extra part of my brain that sticks out the back, which allows you to do all this stuff. No. All humans have this ability embedded in their head. Scientists have proved this. We all have all these telekinetic and telepathy and, you know, prediction abilities. Just we can't access them. And every now and then someone will be born who actually is using them. And I just happen to be one of these people. But it doesn't always work. I don't always see the future, because sometimes when I go to sleep I'll dream about being chased around by aliens, you know, fighting in World War II, that sort of thing. I have weird dreams, sorry. But sometimes I will see bits of the future, and they will then happen at some point in the future. And sometimes I write them down, you know, and then write down actually when they happen afterwards. So, really, most paranormal things aren't just theories anymore. It's not just people going, ooh, yes, ghosts exist, aliens exist, I can see the future. Ooh. It's not all people like that. Actually, these things do happen. People have seen ghosts, people have seen strange lights in the sky and strange shaped objects. But anyone who claims to have seen a circular UFO, absolute bollocks. Just because aliens, you know, just because we are believing in aliens and we are thinking aliens exist and that sort of thing, doesn't mean they're automatically going to turn up in round fucking spaceships that spin. No. That's too many crap TV programmes, well, not say crap, too many TV programmes, too many films with round spaceships in that cause that sort of thinking. I personally believe that if aliens wanted to come to this planet, they wouldn't arrive in round spaceships that span round. They would arrive in spaceships that were possibly sort of pointed at the front and sort of maybe rounded at the back, possibly like a raindrop, or how we would consider a teardrop, you know, that sort of shape. Or it could be any sort of shape, yeah. They could come in spaceships that look like squares. I mean, you know, we've all seen the Borg on Star Trek, you know, in their round spaceships and their big cubes and their diamond and their weird one with the two sticky out bits. I mean, just because, like, people, just because of the whole alien mentality, doesn't mean they're going to turn up in round spaceships. I mean, the so-called flying saucers. It's absolutely bollocks. I really think they'll come in different shaped ones, not just round ones. I think that's just pointless to think that they're going to turn up in flying saucers and land there, come out of the spaceship and go, ooh, 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 ooh. You can tell which films I've been watching. So now, of course, I go back to my what I said earlier about humans being from Mars. If you watch the film Mission to Mars with Gary Sinise, you will see exactly what I mean. But, sorry, I've got a cold. Oh, bastard. But I'll explain the theory just in case you haven't seen the film. And if you haven't seen the film, go watch it. And also watch the film Red Planet, which was made in the same year, and it's also about going to Mars. But it's a different story altogether. But Mission to Mars is about people who went to Mars because the first mission to Mars hit some sort of disaster. So they sent a second team of people to find out what went wrong. And while they're out there, they find this, like a temple. I think it's like a temple. And they find a way inside it somehow. I think it's something to do with transmitting human DNA processes. And we managed to find a way inside. And we get to see this whole story about how Mars used to look relatively like Earth. You know, it used to be a quite good planet that was fine. And then it was going to be hit by an asteroid. And so all these spaceships took off, and most of them fucked off in one direction, and then one went to Earth. And the planet got hit by the asteroid and turned into the desolate wasteland we think of it today, and how we see it today. And then humans grew and evolved and everything on Earth, up until the point where we start thinking about exploring the universe. And of course, the first planets we go to is the ones nearest to us, Venus and Mars. And we go to Mars, obviously, and then we see this story about how humans came from Mars and went to. So we found out about our own ancestry stuff by going to the place with our normal human intelligence, as you say. So basically, we got to the point where we started wanting to explore the universe. First place we went to was Mars, and we found out we're actually from Mars. This is all very confusing for you all until you watch the film. And then you see exactly what I mean, explained simply. And you might have to watch the film twice just in case you don't get it. And then one of the guys from Earth gets in the... He stays in the temple, I think. And the temple is actually a spaceship, which takes off and fucks off in the direction where all the other ships went years ago. So, yes, it's like rejoining the two forms of the human race. And the original humans, which were actually from Mars, are actually like 9 foot tall, really thin people who walk in a sort of swishy type way. A bit like if you've watched Star Wars Episode 2, the creatures that made the clone army, you know, the way they sort of walk all gracefully and wispy, yeah, you know, they walk a bit like that. And compared to us, they look fucking completely different. And they communicate weirdly via like mental like telepathy and shit. So you know, it serves as strengthening the theory of that's possibly our origin, because we can have the ability to, you know, do this sort of stuff. So obviously everyone has their own thoughts about the origin of humanity and whether ghosts, aliens and other paranormal things are real or not. I can't tell you what to believe, what not to believe, what to think is real, what isn't real, and that sort of thing, but I can only tell you what I think. And it's up to you to make up your own mind as to whether ghosts, aliens and that sort of thing are real or not. Christians obviously would believe that aliens don't exist, and they possibly would think that ghosts don't exist. I don't know, I'm not a Christian. But a Christian can't think ghosts exist, because a Christian believes that God created everything, so therefore God wouldn't create aliens. So I'll see you all soon.